Hello everyone. Today I will tell you about the forbidden love of a 15-year-old girl and a 32-year-old guy. This is a retelling of the 1992 film called The Lover. Colonial Vietnam of the 1930s. A 15-year-old girl from an impoverished French family living in Vietnam returns by ferry to a boarding school for girls located in Saigon. In this film, by the way, the main characters have no names. The girl is seen off to the station by her mother and one of her brothers, Paul. The older brother, Pierre, while everyone is busy seeing the girl off, steals the money hidden from their mother, which he spends on drugs. Following the bus, a black car drives onto the ferry. The driver gets out and opens the door for the passenger sitting in the back seat. After getting out of the car, the guy goes to the girl. He takes out a cigarette case and offers her a light, but she refuses. The guy is noticeably nervous. To start a conversation with the girl, he compliments her on her men's hat, finding it unusual that it is not worn by a man. When the girl asks who he is and where he lives, the guy tells her about a large blue stone house on the other side of the river, which the girl has seen many times. All the large and rich houses here, as it turns out, belong to the Chinese, who is our guy. The Chinese offers to give the girl a ride where she needs to go as soon as they dock. In the car, the guy asks the girl what she does in Saigon. According to her, she is in the 11th grade, lying that she is 17, and lives in a boarding school for girls, coming home only for the holidays, from which she is currently returning. Noticing that the girl's hand is on the seat, the Chinese man carefully places his hand next to it, after which he begins to touch it with his finger and gently stroke it, and then passionately squeezes it. When the car gets to the boarding school, the Chinese man is already stroking the girl's leg. Getting out of the car, she says goodbye to the guy, and he silently watches her go. At the boarding school, the girl tells her immodest friend Alan that she was given a ride by a stranger. That's why she arrived so early this time. Helen also has something to tell. One of the boarding school girls sold herself to anyone outside the institution. The girl dreamily says that she would not refuse to give herself to a stranger either. Helen admits that it would be better to be a prostitute than to look after lepers. After all, there is a rumor in the boarding school that after training they will be assigned to hospitals to look after the sick. Leaving for school in the morning, the girl notices a Chinese man's car parked near the school. She goes to the back door of the car and kisses the window behind which the Chinese man is sitting, after which she runs to school. Returning to classes in the evening, the girl keeps looking back, but does not see the familiar car. At night in the boarding school, the girl cannot fall asleep because of strong excitement. A couple of days later, when the boarding house has a day off, the girl notices a car outside, goes out and gets into it, which Helen sees from the window. The Chinese man brings the girl to an apartment that the locals call a bachelor's nest. According to the guy, every young Chinese man has a mistress, and such apartments are intended for meetings with them. The guy says that he is afraid to fall in love with the girl, to which she asks him not to fall in love, but to do what he usually does with other girls. Having laid her on the bed, the guy gets scared, since in front of him is still a very young girl, so she takes everything into her own hands. Having deprived her of her virginity, the guy takes the girl to a restaurant. There she says, smiling, that if her mother found out, she would kill her, and her brother would kill the guy because some Chinese guy slept with his sister. The girl's mother said that if a girl here loses her virginity before marriage, then she is simply not destined to find a husband, because it is a disgrace. The guy confirms her words. He gives an example: if he wanted to marry her, then he would not be allowed to do this, because the girl was already dishonored. Their society does not accept this, and marriage between them would be impossible. The girl is happy to hear this, because she does not like Chinese people in principle. In the morning, at the exit of the boarding house, the guy's driver is already waiting for the girl. He brings her to the same area where the Chinese guy's bachelor apartment is located. Having met, she pounces on the guy, starting to kiss him, after which they have a cupcake right at the threshold, under the voices of random passers-by passing by the apartment. Every day after classes they meet at the guy's apartment, which the girl tells her friend Helen about. She returns to her village for another vacation, arriving in the Chinese man's car, which the girl's mother sees. In the evening, the woman interrogates her about who brought her daughter from Saigon. The girl lies that it was her friend who only offered to give the girl a lift to the village. The mother gets a telegram from the boarding house, which says that the girl did not spend the night there for several days. She has an excuse for this too. It was hot in the boarding house those nights, and the fans did not work. Pierre suggests that the mother beat the girl, since she most likely spent the night with her friend. Since the mother does not believe her, the girl asks to be taken from the boarding house. Some time passes, and when the woman calms down, she asks to introduce the girl to her friend. They meet in a restaurant. It seems that no one is listening to the Chinese man's stories, since everyone is greedily busy eating a delicious dinner. After eating, Pierre suggests going to a pub where they can dance. Looking at the bill, he moves it towards the girl, and she moves it towards the Chinese man. Seeing a purse full of money, the girl's mother begins to laugh hysterically. They arrive at the pub, where after dancing, Pierre begins to pick on the Chinese man, provoking him into a fight. The girl and Polly go dancing, and their mother begins to cry, as she becomes ashamed of her children's behavior. After dancing, the guy moves the girl to his bachelor apartment, where he uses her filthily. After the cupcake, the girl asks how much the Chinese man would pay for this in a brothel. When he asks how much she needs, the girl asks for 500 piastres, which she gives to her mother, and she in turn goes to the boarding school, where she warns the director that sometimes the girl will not spend the night at the institution. Having met the guy, the girl tells him that no one talks to her at school because the parents of other children gossip about her affair with an adult Chinese man. But the guy thinks that the girl is too worked up. A few days later, the Asian man goes to his father, who is very ill and has been bedridden for several years. The guy asks his father for his blessing to marry a young French woman, but the father refuses, because 10 years ago he agreed with the parents of a girl that his son would marry her, and nothing can stop it. The guy tells the girl about this. The father will never allow him to marry a white girl and can deprive him of all his money, but the guy does not want that. The girl says that his father is right, she will leave here in a year anyway, after finishing her studies, and she does not love the Chinese. They return to the bachelor apartment, where the girl asks the guy if his bride is beautiful. He himself has never seen her, he only knows that she is from a rich family, and they selected her precisely for this characteristic. The girl returns to her village again. Seeing the expensive ring that the Chinese gave her, her mother and Pierre make a scandal, believing that the guy gave it not just like that, but after sleeping with the girl. She rejects this, since she despises the Chinese. Having unpacked her things, Pierre sniffs her underwear, after which he says that it smells like a Chinese. The guy begins to beat the girl to beat a confession out of her. After some time, Pierre goes to France. Mom can no longer pay for his antics, and she is already fed up with stealing money, so she decided to send him away. Late in the evening, the girl comes to the Chinese man. The guy is busy smoking opium, because his heart is broken because of the girl's confession that she does not love him. The guy is getting married in a few days, and the girl promises that after the celebration they will meet again before she and her family leave this country. After the Chinese man's wedding, the girl goes home, where she learns from her mother that the guy is not as bad as she thought. He paid off all of Pierre's debts and paid for their departure to France. The girl goes to Saigon. She enters the Chinese man's apartment, where she sits until the evening waiting for him, but when he does not come, she returns home. The day of departure to France arrives. Standing on the deck of the ship, the girl notices the same, but more familiar black car. Although it was difficult to see, you could still make out the guy's silhouette inside the car. The girl looked at him until the car disappeared from sight. In the evening, peering into the darkness, the girl hears someone playing a waltz. When she goes down, she starts to cry. She cried because the music reminded her of her lover, with whom she was truly in love. Many years later, the phone rang in the now adult woman's apartment. It was a Chinese man who had come to Paris with his wife. In a trembling voice, he said that he still loved her and would love her as much as on the first day they met. This is where the film ends. Thank you for watching and see you on the channel.